It should be no surprise at this point that I really like getting more bang for my buck when it comes to firearms. And I think when most people think about multi-caliber firearms, they really think about something like this Ruger GP100. This is a 357 Magnum revolver, but you can also shoot 38 Special and 38 plus P out of this revolver. So it's a pretty utilitarian gun, and it does take multiple calibers. So I would say that something like this GP100 is a pretty good bang for your buck. You buy one gun, whatever you pay for it, $500, $600, $700, and you can shoot multiple calibers out of it. Again, this is 38 Special plus P. That fits perfectly fine in the chamber on this, and you can also shoot 357 Magnum. But I like going beyond the revolver realm as well and looking at other firearms that you can shoot multiple calibers out of to get more for your buck. So I have three guns here that I've had for quite a while, and I've done a couple of videos on each of these. First up here is my Glock Model 23. This is a 40 Smith & Wesson Glock, and this particular one I have is either a Gen 2 or a Gen 3, so it's pretty old. I got it for a decent deal. This is a Glock Model 22, which is a full size in 40 caliber, 40 Smith & Wesson. And next to that, I also have a Beretta 92 FS, which is a 9mm double to single action semi-auto handgun. Now again, all three of these guns have the unique ability that you can shoot multiple calibers out of them. Now it's not quite as simple as what you get with a 357 Magnum revolver or a 44 Magnum revolver, where you literally just put the different round in the chamber and it fires it. But in each one of these instances, with very little extra money, you can do something else to make them shoot another caliber. Now the Glock 23 in and of itself is actually a pretty good value, because not only does it take Glock 23 magazines, but because it's 40 Smith & Wesson with a compact grip, you can also use Glock 22 magazines in it. So if you want to get a little extra capacity out of this gun, you can simply buy a Glock 22 magazine, and right out of the box, you're already saving money because you're getting a larger capacity firearm for the same price. But going beyond that, you have the ability to buy conversion barrels for these guns. Now the Glock 23 has the ability to take either a 9mm conversion barrel, a 40 Smith & Wesson standard barrel, a 357 SIG conversion barrel, or you can turn this into, I believe, a 22 long rifle as well with a slide and barrel kit. Now, swapping these over is really simple. Just like your standard field stripping of your gun to clean it, you literally have to just take the barrel out of the action and put in the new barrel. Because this uses a conversion barrel and it's a 40 Smith & Wesson gun, the barrel for the 9mm is actually a little bit beefier, but you can use the same recoil spring and everything else, and pops together very simply. So depending on how much you spend on this, you can spend between about $70 and a few $100s on a conversion barrel. I think the one I bought off eBay for around $70. And then the nice thing is you can use a standard Glock 19 magazine for 9mm. So just by using readily available magazines and a $70+ barrel, you can now shoot two calibers out of this Glock 23. And again, the benefit of it being a Glock, you can not only shoot Glock 19 magazines with this gun, but you can also use Glock 17 magazines if you want to get an extended capacity out of these things, or just if you want a little bit extra grip for your larger hands, you can use a bigger magazine. So let's check it out at the range. So this is a ETS magazine that I'll start off with, then I'll go to a KCI, then I'll go to a Magpul, and then I have an actual Glock 17 mag. So let's see how we do here, starting off first with the ETS mag. KCI. Magpul. Now, one thing I did notice when shooting the conversion barrel in the Glock 23, my point of impact actually shifted considerably. It was a little bit left of where I was shooting with the 40 Smith & Wesson. Looking at this target, the left target is the 40 Smith & Wesson, which most of them were low, but with the 9mm, all of my rounds were left. The Glock 23 very readily handles the 9mm round. The conversion barrel is actually thicker walls than the standard 40 cal barrel because the diameter of the bullets are smaller. So you're not going to have any worries about pressure or anything like that in this gun because you're going with a sub-caliber round. So again, Glock 23, great price for the gun. You can buy these used, and the conversion barrels are readily available as well. Now moving on to the Glock 22, same thing that you can do with the Glock 23. Because it's a 40 Smith & Wesson, I believe they also make 357 SIG, 9mm, and 22 conversion kits with a slide and a barrel for the Glock 22. In this particular case, I got a Glock 22 9x19 barrel from the same guy that I bought my Glock 23 barrel from. And just like the Glock 23, it's simply just like a field strip where you're just changing the barrel out from a 40 cal to a 9mm and using that same 9mm recoil spring.
What?
Now, I'm not going to drop the field footage of shooting
Give me a
this
minute.
with the 9mm in the video because it's basically the same thing as the Glock 23. However, I will say when I was shooting the Glock 22 with the 9mm conversion barrel, the accuracy was considerably better than I was with the 23. So the point of impact on this one did not have a shift from the 40 Smith & Wesson, and because the slide and the recoil spring was made for 40 Smith & Wesson, this thing is an absolute hack driver with 9mm. You know, the length of the barrel, the sight radius, and all that stuff plays into it as well. The extended grip and everything on it actually makes it much easier to shoot as well. So if I was going to do this again and I had a choice, I don't know, Glock 22 versus Glock 23, either one of them is a good deal. I think the Glock 22 is a little bit easier to shoot because it does have that larger grip, and it uses Glock 17 magazines. Now moving on to the Beretta 92FS, this one, because it's already in a 9mm, and this is a very accurate, reliable, double to single action 9mm pistol, one thing that you can get for the Beretta 92FS is a 22 long rifle conversion kit. So this particular one, I think I bought this, I don't know, somewhere around 2018 for around $400 for the gun, which was a great deal at the time. Now, a brand new Beretta 92FS is going to run you about $700 or $800, depending on where you get it from. And the Beretta 92FS 22 long rifle conversion kit actually is a little bit more pricey than what you would pay for a conversion kit for a Glock. So this whole conversion kit is actually around $400. So, I mean, my total investment in this is about $800, but you're getting two guns and two calibers. You can buy a complete Beretta 92FS and 22 long rifle, but then you have two serial numbers, you have two registrations in my state. So, my particular case, that's another reason why you might want to just get a conversion kit for one of these guns, because you can only afford to buy one receiver, or you're only allowed to have one gun. And in this particular case, now I can turn my Beretta 92FS and 9mm into a 22 long rifle. So same manual of arms, same functionality. I can do testing with 22 long rifle to get used to the pistol, train other shooters to use it. The recoil is very low, and I still had excellent reliability out of this pistol. Now, for some reason, the conversion kit that I had, the magazines that it came with, did not always lock the slide back on the last round. But realistically, that's a small price to pay for being able to shoot 22 long rifle out of this 9mm pistol. And again, now I have two guns in one. And even though this one cost a little bit more than what I put into my Glocks with the conversion barrels, I still think it's worthwhile because I have one receiver with one serial number that can shoot two calibers. So at any rate, whatever your reasoning is for wanting to buy guns that can shoot multiple calibers, again, in my case, it's being able to have multiple calibers that shoot out of the same gun to save money, because you're buying one frame, one receiver, and you're able to shoot multiple calibers either with a barrel or a barrel and slide conversion. Again, in some cases, you may only be able to buy one gun, whether money allows that, or you might have inherited an old Gen 2 Glock and you don't really like 40 Smith & Wesson, you want to shoot 9mm. So there are options to buy different barrels, different conversion kits for these guns to make them shoot different calibers. And again, in the case of going to a 22 in any one of these guns, the price of ammo is a big choice. But again, that's going to end out this video. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. And, you know, people may call me a cheapskate because I like getting inexpensive guns or getting more for my money out of my guns. I'm never going to be that person that goes out and buys a boutique 1911 or a boutique 92 FS or a boutique Glock. I just like getting good value for my money, being able to use my guns as a utilitarian function, a ranged gun, and something that I can defend my family with if need be. So thanks again for watching this edition of Cranky Gun Reviews and this edition of getting more bang for your buck by using conversion kits or conversion barrels for your firearms. God bless America. Support your 2A rights. Get out there and shoot. And you remember, if someone asks you to give up some of your freedom for the greater good, remind them that freedom is always the greater good.